ultra-modern cocoa processing factory set to produce chocolate for consumption. Director General UNESCO visits Oban Biosphere Reserve in Cross River State, stresses need for awareness creation in conservation of natural ecosystem. Plus, federal government to improve livelihood for women in rural areas. Details shortly. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the news. I am Uduak Ethan. Africa will continue to remain a subservient continent if it continues to export its raw materials without refining them into finished products. This is coming from the Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade, who was on an inspection visit to the Ecom Ultramodern Cocoa Processing Factory. Paul Ebel reports.
The cocoa processing factory is part of the agricultural value chain of the Cross River agro-industrialization policy, which has several benefits including food sufficiency, job creation, reduction of unemployment, proper packaging of products for export, among others. The visit by the governor to this facility with word is on ground presents an assurance that Cross River is now ready to produce chocolates from the abundance of cocoa being cultivated in the state.
Africa accounts for 86% of world cocoa production. Unfortunately, in terms of the economy, it only gains 6%, which means that Africa produces 86% of cocoa, exports the cocoa bean, and in turn, we go back and import chocolates back into Africa. This process has to come to an end. So what you find here is a full cocoa processing plant from start, right from the tree to the chocolate for final consumption. The process is a very clear process. It starts with separation, cleansing, until you get a clean bean.
Tray is actually set up to process cocoa. And in the process, they will generate cocoa butter, they will generate cocoa powder and cocoa liquor.
It is hoped that as all sectors key into the drive of refining Nigeria's raw materials before export, it will go a long way to boost the economy and serve the nation better. In Calabar, Paul Abel, Nta News.
The multi-million naira Cross River State vitaminized ultra-modern rice processing mill Ugoja will soon be inaugurated. This was made known by the State Governor, Professor Ben Ayade, during a test run and pre-inauguration tour of the entire facility. Paul Eder again reports.
The governor's visit affords him opportunity to inspect various automated sections, receiving the rice paddy to processes of pre-cleaning, parboiling, destoning, sorting, polishing, and bagging. With the capacity of the facility, which can accommodate all levels of rice farmers, poverty is expected to be reduced as government creates the enabling environment to assist farmers.
This is the first of its kind in Africa, and I'm particularly proud that we have this outstanding world-class vitaminized rice mill in Ugoja local government area of Cross River State. I'm particularly delighted, and I look forward to converting the entire Cross River State into rice farmers, because the storage capacity alone for one batch is about 6,500 tons. And on continuous production, we have a stock capacity of 240 tons per day at 24 hours operation. So if we have 240 tons per day, it gives you an idea that even if we were to convert the whole lands in Cross River State for rice farming, this factory will have the capacity to take it.
After now, we'll have to go into commercial operation, where we'll start selling the rice to the public. And we're at that point now.
The ultra-modern rice processing mill is expected to be inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. In Calabar, Paul Abel, Nta News.
The federal government says its commitment to improving livelihood for women and check gender inequalities, especially at the rural areas, is irreversible. This was the message by the National Technical Coordinating Committee, Nigeria for Women Projects, while addressing members of the women affinity groups in Ogun State. Muyiwa Onoumi reports.
The initiative by the federal government and supported by the World Bank is targeted at rendering support towards improving the livelihoods for the benefiting women. Three groups, Eto Olorun, Ifelodun and Oriofe were the 3 affinity groups targeted for the program in Odeda local government area of the state.
We started training them to know how to manage very little resources and train them as well how to also invest the little resources into vocations, skills that they acquire.
Women, you can see their faces, you can see how happy they are, at least at the start, is to improve their livelihood, and you can see in terms of their economical status, they are being improved.
Ogun State Governor, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Women Affairs, Malaysia Ogunremi, thanked the federal government for having the interest of women's emancipation at heart.
The project has had a very good impact on the women in this local government, because from what we have seen and what we have heard, their lives have started to be transformed.
Some of the beneficiaries described the initiative as a lifetime investment.
This is the first program that I'll see that both young and old women can benefit from.
It teaches us almost everything about how to spend money, how to save money.
The project, among other objectives, is aimed at supporting the financial needs of women at the federal, state and local government levels.
The Medium Security Custodial Center in Calabar, Kogi State has been attacked by yet to be identified gunmen. A statement by the Public Relations Officer, Nigerian Correctional Service, Francis Enobere, shows that 240 inmates were forcefully released. The incident took place at about 11:46 p.m. on Sunday, 12 September 2021. According to Enobere, the attackers who arrived at the custodial center in their numbers, heavily armed, immediately engaged the armed guards in a fierce gun battle. Consequently, the Controller General of Correctional Service, Haliru Nababa, has ordered a recapture procedure to be activated immediately, and detailed investigation carried out as he leads a team to assess the situation. He, however, appealed to the public to provide useful information that will assist in recapturing the escapees to security operatives. The Calabar Medium Security Custodial Center was established in 2008 with a capacity of 200. However, at the time of the invasion, 294 inmates were in the custody, out of which 224 were pre-trial detainees with 70 convicted inmates. Meanwhile, the Minister of Interior, Rao Barekwe-Shola, has received briefing by the Controller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Haliru Nababa, on the unfortunate attack on Calabar Medium Security Custodial Center in Calabar, Kogi State by yet to be identified gunmen. A statement by the media advisor to the Minister of Interior says, during the attack, that security officers on duty, which comprised of 18 soldiers, 10 police officers and 10 armed guards of the Nigeria Correctional Service, fought gallantly to repel the attack, but regrettably, 2 officers of the Correctional Service are yet to be accounted for, while 1 soldier and a policeman lost their lives during the attack. According to the statement, a crisis response center has been activated and a special task force mobilized to recapture escaped inmates, while an interagency security task force is already on the trail of the gunmen who attacked the facility. The public is advised to stay calm as the situation is under control and assure citizens that Nigeria's security force will find the attackers and bring them to justice. He urges people, especially the communities around the custodial facility, to be vigilant and report any strange and suspicious persons or activities to the nearest law enforcement agency. You are still watching Nta Calabar News at 7. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nta Calabar. A break now, the news continues shortly. Stay with us.
As news breaks from the north, south, east, and west of Nigeria, we bring it to you. News from the length and breadth of Cross River State is sent to you via this channel.
With movers and shakers in various spheres of influence talking to us, we carve a niche and showcase our experience in broadcasting, because it's Nta Calabar before others.
You can't get this anywhere else. It's only here on Nta Calabar News, showing at these times: 3 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 7 p.m. every day. Nta Calabar News. Our experience counts.
Welcome back and thanks for being there. And now to the rest of the bulletin. To mitigate effects of global warming, the need for awareness creation amongst the rural populace and the citizenry in conservation of natural ecosystem is the reason for the visit of the Director General UNESCO to the Oban Biosphere Reserve in Cross River State. The Director General UNESCO was in Nsan community, where the reserves are located to foster a sense of pride of place amongst residents to appreciate increase in biosphere that could enhance their livelihood. Ode Aleon has details.
The Oban Biosphere Reserve, located at Oban Division of Cross River National Park, is about 3,000 square kilometers with high concentrated biodiversity, ecologically bounded by Korob National Park in the Republic of Cameroon. Director General UNESCO, Ms. Andre Azoli, is here at the reserve to enlighten the host community on the need to have a better knowledge of biosphere in ecosystem and on how they can be empowered through alternative source of livelihood.
We are starting to see, discussing with the local communities how we can provide something else in replacement of these illegal activities, so that they find an interest to do sustainable activity.
Stakeholders in the biodiversity and environmental sector harp on the challenges and need to protect biosphere reserves in their areas so as to be part of the accruing benefits.
And we cannot achieve any of this biodiversity conservation, sustainable use of the land, without working closely with you.
And the only way to contend with that is the solution that UNESCO is providing, to empower the people who are doing or who are threatening the ecosystem.
The Conservator General, National Park Service, Ibrahim Musa Goni, is happy for the approval of the Oban and Okwango Biosphere Reserves, all in Cross River State by UNESCO.
With Nigeria becoming a member and even having an ambassador at UNESCO, Nigeria has been able to make case for additional biosphere reserve.
A chieftaincy title of Ntunkai Ibrahim, meaning Mother of Life, was conferred on the Director General UNESCO, Aldred Azule, by the Royal Authority of the Nsan Community. In Calabar, Ode Aleño, NTA News.
The federal government has fixed a new date for the Nigeria at 60 Jubilee Special Awards ceremony. It will take place on Thursday, September 30th, 2021. A statement from the Office of the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Adeniyi, says the ceremony will be held at the Presidential Banquet Hall, Abuja. The award was earlier billed for 3rd September 2021 before it was postponed by the committee charged with the planning of the ceremony. A statement signed by the Minister's media aide, Ifadayo Sayo, says the award ceremony is planned as part of the Jubilee celebrations of the nation's independence and is designed to honor 60 notable Nigerians who have made an impact in the country. The special award ceremony is being put together by the Ownership Subcommittee of the Nigeria at 60 Committee in collaboration with a media and digital communication firm under the chairmanship of the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. The need for more commitment from government, individuals and corporate organizations towards the promotion of live theatre has again been made at a musical stage play depicting the life and travels of late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, held at the historical Global Hall in Lagos. State House correspondent Jide Onife reports.
If you are not sure of where you are going, look back to where you are coming from to get inspiration, guidance, and direction. This is one of Nigeria's wise sayings, as the writer and producer of the play Awo, Makinde Adeniro, tries to link the past to the present to create a better future for the people of the country, especially the young ones. And he says the intention is the need to begin re-engineering the system about leadership and the person of Awo representing the old political figures.
And that's the target, to be able to let the younger ones see these leaders that have gone in the past, what they have done. What were the things they faced?
Makinde says there is no telling the story of these past leaders without taking a look at their support pillars, which come from the wives and children, relatives, friends, and political associates.
After all, power is what we seek.
Humanity is value that transcends time and power. And that is what should taunt our consciences to ensure that Nigeria stays together, not the numbers in politics.
When and how did we get here? But that is how it is in politics. We win some, we lose some.
Of what use is a woman without a king's son or a husband who has become a shadow?
Telling the story from the role of the home front, in this case, Nta Calabar gives it a bit of romantic approach.
I am not sleeping with anyone to free my husband.
You are my jewel of inestimable value.
Tonight, we've witnessed that beyond that cap, he was a man who wore many caps.
The play was staged by the Duke of Shomoli Productions, Jide Onifade, Nta News.
Firefighters, with the assistance of some members of the public, have successfully put out a fire that has emanated from a tanker explosion in Yola in the early hours of Monday. Simon Asha reports that the tanker was fully loaded with diesel exploded when the driver was trying to negotiate a turn and lost control.
The incident, according to eyewitnesses' account, occurred due to overspeeding as the tanker driver was trying to negotiate a turn around the roundabout heading to NNPC depot along Numa Road to offload the product, thereby losing control, hence the explosion. It took firefighters more than 3 hours to put everything under control.
There
was pandemonium when he lost control. The incident was terrific.
Shops, fruit stalls, commercial billboard, among other electricity equipment worth millions of naira were destroyed as a result of the fire incident. As at the time of filing this report, no life was lost, but effort is being put in place to remove the exploded tank off the road as hitch-free vehicular movements have been affected by the situation. In Yola, Simon Asha, Nta News.
It is often said that there is a thin line between love and hate, and when it overlaps to the other side, its devastating effect is better imagined than seen. This is the case of Rumaso Adamu of Wuro Biinka village in Adamawa State, whose marriage turned sour 25 days after wedding by stabbing her husband for denying her divorce. For more of the story, let's join Simon Asha.
Wuro Yanka, a 3-hour drive from Yola, the metropolitan city of Adamawa State, lately is on the spotlight as news over the death of a 35-year-old man, Baka Muhammad Adamu, who was stabbed by his wife 25 days after their marriage. His wife, a 19-year-old Rumasao Adamu, was subsequently arrested by the police, where she attributed her ill action to lack of love for her husband after she was forcefully married to him by her grandmother and uncle.
I only asked him to get us soup ingredients. He refused. He said I should go to my grandmother. And I said, no, I am married to you, not her. We exchanged some words. Then I was holding a knife. I stabbed him, but not with the intention of killing him.
On a visit to Wuro Yanka village to find out the truth about the ugly situation and why a girl would be forced to marry out of love, all parties involved were met and gave their own side of the story.
She was not forced to marry him, even though when we noticed change of attitude from her, I advised him to forget about her, but he insists on the marriage.
Together with the deceased, we sat severally to seek her consent, and the answer was positive. We didn't marry her off without her consent.
I was not in support of their relationship. That is why I absent myself from the marriage totally.
Police Public Relations Officer Adamawa State Police Command, DSP Suleiman Yahya Increoje, through a telephone conversation, says investigation is still ongoing, which after the girl will be charged to court.
Rumasao, being a wife, used a knife by stabbing her husband, which resulted to his unconsciousness, and eventually he was rushed to hospital and was confirmed dead.
Though there are contradictions on the age of the deceased and that of the accused, the police assured that all the parties involved will be invited to allow justice take its course on the murder case.
That wraps up our package for this evening, but before we go, a recap of the major stories. The Ecom Ultra Modern Cocoa Processing Factory has set to produce chocolate for consumption. Director General UNESCO has visited Oban Biosphere Reserve in Cross River State and stressed the need for awareness creation in conservation of natural ecosystem. It was also in the news that federal government has reiterated its commitment to improving lives of rural women in Nigeria. That is it on our news this evening. Thanks for watching. Good night.